All right, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo Sports Talk and more. My name is Patrick Moran. Thank you so much for listening, for watching, however you consume Talking Buffalo. Appreciate you guys. Big shout out to both our sponsors, Sunny Reds, 1841 Aber Road. About 5 minutes or so down the way from Highmark Stadium. 20 wings, large brick oven pizza, $45 anytime they're open. Dine in, take out, cannot beat that. Imperial Pizza as well, 1035 Aber Road. I'm actually going to be there with a live show tomorrow night. Talk about that in just a few. But anyway, 1035 Aber Road, home of the best lunch special in town. All right, this is our Monday podcast, Buffalo Bills recap, a convincing win for the Bills on the road against the New York Jets. If you happen to be watching this live on the video side, we are live, and I am joined as usual for these recaps, Joe from Queens. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm doing all right. I'm a little out of it tonight, so I'm not going to have my A game. Not as bad as the Jets, though, but I'm not going to have my A game. It might be a Dawson Knox type of A game tonight.
Dawson Knox type of A game.
Yeah.
All right. Hello to everybody. Like I said, we're on the video side. We are live. Hello to everybody in the chat. We'll get to a bunch of comments. I was going to say it's not a live show if Tooch isn't in the house. Tooch is in the house. What's up, Tooch? Michael Carlisto's there. Mark, regular on the show. Alex Barber. Good to see you guys. Plenty to talk about today. Let's see, man. We'll talk about the game itself, what we liked, a few things that I didn't. Maybe you'll agree with, maybe you won't. Nothing crazy, obviously. We're going to have a Mount Flushmore later on. We'll get to that debate in a second. A Mount Flushmore, the worst Jets of all time. That was a Joe idea he came up with today. Also,
I pivot. Sorry to interrupt. I already went over what you wanted. Yes, the Jets I hated. I was usually going to do my Mount Rushmore or Flushmore of like Bills memories, but the vibes are too good, so I stuck it with let's make fun of the Jets. So go ahead.
We're going to make fun of the Jets. We're going to make fun of the Jets plenty here on this episode. Big Netflix boxing weekend too. I got a thought on that, but I'm going to save that towards the end of the show. The Emmys are going on. I'm going to check in. You and I are both Severance fans. See if they're having a good night. We'll get to that much, much later on in the show, though. But anyway, our ritual Sunday again. By the way, Bills 30, Jets 10, a resounding road victory for the Bills. They moved to 2-0, already in firm control of the AFC East. What do you got there, man? What do you got over there in Queens? What do you drinking?
I got a resurgence, actually. Loganberry Wit. I'm not a big Loganberry fan in general, but the beer I actually kind of dig. It's smooth. I had a couple beers today watching the game, so I was kind of like, I need something a little bit lighter. It's 4% alcohol. I'll be fine. This is like a Pat Moran, you're going over the edge beer, because you drink Natty Ice Juniors or whatever the hell you drink, and I have this. So just but I always like Resurgence. It's good to go home and get some, and it was that's what I'm drinking. So have you had this before? You had to have had this, right, or no?
I think I have. I think I have. I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure that I have. I love Resurgence. You know that.
You love everything. Pander. Okay, yes.
Pander. Speaking of pandering, I'm also in Homer mode right now.
Oh, yes. What is... You know what? It's so fun. My wife is when I was going on here, amazing.
Rivalry hoodie, man.
Rivalry, yes. My wife was like... Hey, my wife was like, why don't you wear some Bills gear going on the podcast? Because I'm wearing this great shirt. I'm like, no, I'm an objective troll. Okay, not a journalist, a troll. I'm objective. So I'm not wearing Bills gear on any of these podcasts with you. I'm an objective. I follow the rules. I'm objective. So no Bills gear ever for me when I'm on this podcast.
I rarely do. Once in a blue moon.
You've been doing last week. You had I think 2 weeks ago you had the MVP Allen shirt. You've been dapping in that a little bit more lately.
I have.
You have. You see Podfather with his Bills gear, then you see T-Bone, and then you're like, I gotta do what they say. And, that's how you roam, and it's cool. It's reset. I respect. It's fine.
That's all right, right? I'm kind of trolling you a little bit. I know how much you hate when we wear, or at least when I wear Bills gear. But honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. This hoodie, wow, overpriced. Like the jersey is like $190. This hoodie is like $110. It's just I can't stand wearing all white. Like I'm horrified to do anything in this. This might be limited to like when I occasionally do some shows or content, but yeah, I do like it though. It's pretty. It's a nice design. I'll say that.
Is it Nike? It's Nike, right?
It is Nike. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, interesting how like there's so many design like sweaters and shirts from different companies now.
Yeah.
Like when you buy Bills gear, like there's Nike, there's Fanatics, there's New Era, and then it's all these other things. And you're like, okay, which is the good quality or not? So, but it's a sharp. I had that hoodie in my cart for like 3 days, and I just couldn't pull the trigger because $110. That's too much for a hoodie. Instead, I bought a different hoodie for $40 cheaper. That's designed by the guy from Hootie and the Blowfish. It's like the Darius Rucker collection. I don't know how he got involved in like designing like NFL gear, but it's a cool hoodie. I'll show it to you one day. I won't wear it on the podcast though, because again, I'm an objective journalist, troll, whatever you want to call it. Anyways,
let's get into the game. Like I said, it's about 9 p.m.ish or so Sunday night as we're streaming this on the video side, live, available for podcasts, of course. Immediately after. Let me start with a comment. JJ94 says, what a beautifully dominant, boring win. Felt like a Pats Bills game from 2009 with the shoe on the other foot. Liked Bosa in week 1. Loved him today. We'll get to Bosa in a second. But yeah, man. So the Bills, like I said, 30-10. The game was never in doubt. The Bills scored on their first 4 possessions. They held the Jets scoreless on their first 4 drives. Got a turnover along the way. This game, like I said, was 20-0, never in doubt. In terms of yardage and stuff like that, the Bills dominated. They outgained the Jets 403 to 154. And that 154 the Jets got in total yards, by the way, includes 77 fourth quarter Tyrod Taylor garbage time yards. So basically, it was almost half of that. So 154 yards, the fewest that the Bills have allowed in a road game since 1990. In Indy. So you got to go back a long time to see a more dominant road effort for the Bills. And maybe the most impressive thing was the Bills held the Jets to 0 for 11 on third downs. They did not get a single third down conversion the whole game. That's only the second time that's happened since 1991. A couple years ago against the Jets, they were also 0 for 11. So 0 for 11 on third downs, 4 sacks, a takeaway. The Jets had 100 yards rushing for the game, but again, plenty of that in trash time. Breece Hall, big weapon. I was very concerned about him going into the game. I'll tell you this, if you watch like the video stuff, I have a thumbnail that I put up before the show. I'll throw it up. Now, I did this thumbnail before the game, and I had Breece Hall up there, and I was really scared about the potential that the kind of game he was going to have. Well, absolute, complete non-factor. 29 yards rushing on 10 carries. Garrett Wilson, just 4 catches for 50 yards. And again, a lot of those were late. He played until the final few minutes of the game. He only had 1 catch for 18 yards in the first, 2.5, 3 quarters. And then Justin Fields, bro. 3 for 11 passing, 27 yards. This was a guy who looked great against Pittsburgh last week. 3 for 11 for 27. And then on the offensive side, James Cook, you got it going again. 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, highlight reel, 44-yarder. The Bills ran for over 220 yards in this game. I thought Josh Allen pretty pedestrian by his standards, but hey, man, the Bills on the road. 2 key defensive injuries. Ed Oliver, we knew about. Teron Johnson, kind of a surprise that he didn't play. We found out Sunday morning. Just complete domination, man. But we'll get into specific stuff. What's your general takeaway watching this game today?
You know, the comment you read off before about it felt like the 2009 Bills Patriots, like the shoe was on the other foot. And I felt that. I even felt that more for the Jets because after last week's loss, it was like a nice loss for the Jets where it was oh, hey, it was Justin Fields looked good. Their offense was moving. They probably should have won that game. And that felt like vintage drought Bills of, oh, we looked good in a loss. Let's see what we can do against the bigger team. and then get our faces caved in right away. And that's what happened. Like that was like the vintage of that, of like, and I fell for it a little bit.
Me too.
I thought it was. I had the Bills. I put on Blue Sky the Bills winning by 3, but it was honestly about as shaky as you can get. Where I had a bad feeling, like you had talked about the injuries, the Hall, Bryce Hall, Justin Fields. To me, he's the biggest. He's one of the bigger tease quarterbacks. Where like he's got all those tools, and it's like every week, like I feel like ESPN would always hype him, like with the Bears and even the Steelers. But then he has one good game every 4 weeks, and the bad games are really bad. But overall, that's kind of how I felt a little bit. Is just and he screwed me today. I made the worst. I'm talking fantasy football here. Sorry, people. I started him over Jared Goff. Just horrible.
I started Fields today too.
But I started him over Goff, who had like 35 points today. Like it was a 32-point swing.
Yeah.
And I was scared because I was like, oh, the Bills defense it's bad. Even when the game got out of hand, I was like, wait, like give me Justin Fields garbage time. It's like 30-3. Okay, let's get a touchdown here. He gets a concussion. I'm like, thanks, dude. You did nothing for me. But it was definitely one of those times when I felt, and this has gone back to even last year and the year before, where I'm like, it's a lesser team. Where's the trap game? There hasn't been a trap game in a while now for the Bills. I can't even remember the last time they lost a trap game. Maybe when Ken Dorsey was the offensive coordinator. The last time they had like a trap loss, against like the Patriots with Mac Jones, or Denver, in his last game. But anytime there's like that trap door game, they don't go through it.
Yeah. So our pregame, not ours, I did the weekly preview and predictions portion on last Friday's show. I will say I did nail the Bills points total. I had the Bills winning this game 30-19. That was my pregame pick. So pretty damn close there. But I'm not going to give myself a lot of credit because I have bold predictions. I'll make fun of myself. I don't give a shit. I had Curtis Samuel playing and scoring a touchdown. Curtis Samuel did not play. I had Ty Johnson scoring a touchdown. Ty Johnson was a literal non-factor for the Bills in this game. I had Breece Hall breaking a 40-yard run or longer going into this game. Breece Hall didn't even have 40 yards rushing in this game. I had Matt Milano having a sack. He didn't have a sack. He had a pretty good game, however, something to worry and monitor, at least anyway, when it comes to him. We'll get to in a second. Let me bring up a comment. Kind of to the point of what you started out your take with. Run the Ball said, Bills fans always exaggerate the strengths of opposing teams like the Jets. Only reason previous games were close was because Josh sucked. He's past that. He's entering the Brady Zen phase of QB play. Well, okay, there's a lot of truth layered into, and thanks for that, Run the Ball, in that comment. Look, the Jets, you said it. They looked really good last week in their loss. They looked like a team. They could have won that Pittsburgh game if people watched it. There was one or two plays in that game that defined it. The Jets were a very tough out for Pittsburgh. Justin Fields looked really good. Aaron Glenn, had that team ready to play, and it certainly looked like this was going to be a different Jets team. I don't know that we fell for, maybe we should give the Bills a little bit of credit, Joe, that, hey, maybe they made the Jets look really, really bad today because guess what? I think the Buffalo Bills are a pretty deep, balanced, good football team themselves. I don't know. What do you think?
It's a little bit of both, but let's realize the Jets won 4 games last year. They were terrible, and if you're asking me between Justin, Fields versus Rodgers, I think it's a toss up in terms of who's a better quarterback. And I think Rodgers has been a little bit better, but
and the Bills have played like shit, Joe. I'm sorry, the Bills have played like shit plenty against the Jets. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you mentioned that, and I wanted to say that.
And they've had those 2 really bad games in 2022 and 2023. Where Josh did struggle, and that's why they couldn't beat them because Josh struggled. And the defense kind of held their own, but he's been better since then. And I think it's so early in the season where you shouldn't fall into these traps about overrating other teams that still have stuff to prove. And I fell into it. Like, look, the Steelers lost today by 2 touchdowns against Seattle. Seattle's not a juggernaut over here. It's Darnold. And I know Darnold's a little bit better than he used to be with the Jets, obviously, but they look they look pretty mediocre in terms of that. So it's I think we did probably overhype it a little bit, but we should have just thought about the injuries. Is what really is what I was concerned about.
Me too.
That's what if Ed Oliver was playing and Teron Johnson was playing, I would be like, yeah, fine, they're going to win by 10. But when they were hurt, I was like, eh. But it was stupid. I shouldn't have fell for it. I can't do that again. Tooch, remind me if I ever do that I can't do that. Mark it on your notebook, okay, please.
I think so. We did a live show Wednesday night last week, and I think one of the things we talked about was one of the low-key good things about the Buffalo Bills during this entire run is that the Bills don't lose games often that they're not supposed to win. Like, if they're supposed to win, they win. They don't lose against shitty teams. And we talked about this. Like, as great as Baltimore can be and Kansas City or some of these other teams, man, they find ways to lose to significantly inferior opposition. The Bills very rarely do that. And that is a credit to being prepared to play. Let's do this. I got a couple, like, my biggest takeaways from this game I'm going to throw at you. We'll go one at a time with these, and then I'm going to get your thoughts. And again, if you're watching in the live chat, I feel free to chime in. Some of these I'm putting up on the screen. A few I'm reading. A few I might be bookmarking to kind of try to circle back to later in the show. But for me, while I'm watching this game, my biggest takeaway, and this isn't just so for this game, but just this summer and a lot of the contract stuff that happened with James Cook and seeing a lot of reaction from people and opinions during that time. One of my biggest takeaways from this game, Joe, is this offense is literally night and day better when James Cook is back there as opposed to Ray Davis. And that's not me just shitting on Ray Davis. You can throw Ty Johnson in there as well. James Cook is, first of all, his vision is literally elite. I mean, that touchdown that he had, the vision he had in that to cut back twice, the way he does, he just sees things on the field ways that Ray Davis just simply doesn't. And he also has that gear that those guys just don't. And there are a lot of people this offseason, Joe, when the contract stuff got ugly, that were saying, get rid of Cook. I'm good with Ray Davis. I don't know how anyone, if you watch these first two games, how you could think that. This offense is just at another level when James Cook is out there. Big, big difference to me as opposed to Ray Davis. Ty Johnson, do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it is one game, so I don't want to kill Ray Davis or Ty yet, because we did, heading to the season, I think we all were like, hey, they're decent guys. They haven't been doing much so far, but still a lot of game left. But, yeah, he's an explosive running back, Cook. You know, this was his, I looked this up, this is his 8th career 100-yard game for the Bills. And he's only been at it really for what, like, 2 years kind of, and 2 years and change, because he had the red shirt first year, and the second year he didn't really play all that much. It was his 7th multi-touchdown game as well. So he's in an offense that, to me right now, doesn't have a lot of firepower outside of Josh. Like, Cook is their second best offensive weapon, without question. He is a game breaker. And he reminds me a lot of Chris Johnson, a little bit with how he runs. He even has a little bit, like, you and I are both old men, a little bit of Roger Craig, with he has the high motor pistons when he runs. Like, he runs very physically when you don't think he's a physical guy. Like, he'll run your ass over. And he's part of the reason, look, I still have I'm fine with the extension as of today, but you can convince me, you don't pay running backs. But, you have to pay him because you don't have enough, to me, all these other weapons. I'm just kind of they're okay. He's good. He tore it up today, and he ran hard. And that Jets defense, it's a decent defense. I mean, they have been in the last couple of years, but he is definitely he was great today. And he's a game breaker. He could take it to the house on any play, and he's shown that over the last 2 years now.
Yeah, I think he had 5 runs last year of 40 more yards. He had one, obviously, today. But it's also, like I said, it's the vision. And I don't know, man. He gets from the line, and even when it seems like there's no hole or anything, he manages to get 4 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where Ray Davis, if that hole's not there, I feel like I'm shitting. It's not me trying to shit on Ray Davis. Look, Ray Davis is the 3rd running back on this team, okay? That's probably what he's supposed to be. Ray Davis, if you compared him to 31 other RB3s, he'll be probably one of the better ones. But I'm just saying, I keep going back to a lot of people who thought that the Bills' offense would be perfectly fine and they shouldn't pay James Cook. Well, let today be a reason why You should. And it's not the first time we've seen this, but the vision that he has, the vision, the patience, the speed, the ability to shift on a dime, it's really impressive. And this was a great game for James Cook. And let's go to the other side of the football, because I know a lot of people want to hear about this, and a lot of people are talking about this, and as they should be. Joey Bosa today was a beast. And I'll tell you, on a pretty pedestrian Josh Allen day, we'll talk about some of that, which who cares, but they didn't need him to be, which I like that in a way. But I think you can make a very, very reasonable argument that Joey Bosa was the best player on the football field today, period. He has been an awesome addition for the Bills through 2 games, especially this one. Forced 2 fumbles today. One of them was a turnover. He had a sack. He's already got 3 forced fumbles in 2 games. He was living in the Jets' backfield all day. Eric Wood shared a video that I watched shortly before he went on the air. It's like a 45-second clip. I counted at least 5 or 6 quarterback pressures he had on the day and at least 3 or 4 hits on Justin Fields. He's got to stay healthy, but he is head and shoulders. Man, is he an upgrade over what they got from Vaughn Miller last year.
Yeah.
This guy is the real, if he can stay healthy, and that's a big if, of course, but boy, oh boy, Joey Bosa looks really, really, really good right now. He looks like a bargain. I think Tony Romo might have said he might have been one of the steals of free agency, and he could end up being. I see that. He looked awesome today, dude.
No, he looked great. He only played 26 snaps today. I saw online one of the national guys had his snap count already, which
really
I thought was incredible. I was like, that's it? I was like, he was killing it. So, hopefully I'm right. And I saw it was a national guy. So
it could be because the Jets actually didn't. Let's see, they had 21 carries and about 22 passes. He ran 40-some plays. So
yeah, so it makes sense. Like he only had, but he was all over the field and he made plays, splash plays. Look, they need a pass rusher. You and I have talked about this ad nauseum for the last 3-4. They haven't had that since Von Miller's first year when he played 10 games and then he was injured and never got back to that level again. They need him. And I don't know how much you want to count like it being the Jets offense. We'll see what they do against other guys. Like, look, it's the Jets. I know I fell into that trap a little bit. I'm an idiot.
Yo, dude, went against J.J. Watt. That rookie right tackle last week allowed 1 pressure on 20-something snaps. His first-round rookie was amazing against 2 great edge rushers for Pittsburgh. Better than the Bills' edge rushers. Pittsburgh has better edge rushers than the Bills do. But Joey Bosa just, whatever side, but especially that side, man, he destroyed that rookie, bro, this week. He was just...
You're right. And you know what? The impressive thing was he did it without Ed Oliver. Like you would think, like, hey, having a guy there to take double teams or whatever, all the football folklore we always hear about. Yeah, he was great, and they need him in terms of like being healthy, and hopefully he stays healthy. It's good to have a guy that has a sack and had pressures. We haven't seen that in a while. But yeah, he's still early. But they need that. They need someone to like come in there and kick ass on the defensive on the line, get some sacks, get us some, box score stats. People need love, man. So we need that.
Yeah. Look, so Bosa was great. Greg Rizzo was fine on the other side. AJ Benessa there, he's all right. Solomon did not play much. No, he hasn't been a factor in 2 games. But you know what thought I had going during the game? It's like, well, Bosa can't really keep up playing as much reps. I actually thought he played more reps. But again, the Jets didn't have a lot of snaps, so maybe he didn't. But I kept thinking during this game that, those first 2 edge guys are really, really good. A.J. Vanessa's fine as a third, but people are thinking about Landon Jackson getting in the lineup. I'm like, I don't care. Michael Hoyt, when he gets back for suspension, that is a really good pass rusher too, man. If you are you should be feeling very optimistic through 2 weeks now about the Bills' edge rushers when it comes to the pass rush. But anyway, that was another take. Just an incredibly promising game from Joey Bosa, who, by the way, too, Joe, I don't know if this matters or not, but it feels like he feels like he belongs. Does that make sense to you? Like, I think he really likes being in Buffalo, and I think his teammates have really taken well to him. Certainly good relations. They were excited as hell for him when he had that fumble that led to the turnover. They were celebrating like crazy on the sideline. You saw in the 4th quarter, he waved bye to the crowd. It just, I don't know. It feels like he really fits well here, man, so far.
Well, he played with the Chargers, who aren't exactly a giant fan juggernaut. They're not. They're like one of the worst fan bases in the league because they're in Los Angeles. No one cares about them. So
Sure.
I'm sure it's good for, he must like it here. It's a football town. He's an Ohio State guy. I think it's close to home. So yeah, I think he probably likes it here. But yeah, if he keeps making those plays, I'll like him too. So it was good for what he did.
Yeah.
I also thought real quick with I thought I know you get to the secondary, but I thought the secondary really did a good job with run support. Like, I don't know if I didn't see that on your note. I'm not, or maybe I did. I just but I thought I looked through it quick and then my phone, and then you went to me. No. But I thought like the run support was really good. They had a lot of tackles behind the line of scrimmage, I thought, today. Like Matt Milano set the precedence, like right in the first play. He went down and he killed someone. I think it was Bryce Hall. He killed right away. And I was like, all right, good. Let's get this going with. Like, they didn't do that against the Ravens last week all that much, but nice penetrations in terms of getting guys at the line of scrimmage or behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And we'll talk about that a little bit more too. The other thing I had in my takeaways, and it wasn't that it was a huge deal, but the speed at receiver this year, to me, is better than last year. And I think you're seeing that right now. Like Josh Palmer and Elijah Moore are giving the Bills way more explosion potential and production than Amari Cooper. And as much as I hate to admit it, my boy Matt Collins from last year, the Matt Collins funerals are done. By the way, I have not heard his name so far with the Patriots this season.
I thought he had a touchdown today, Hollins, but I could have been wrong.
He could have. I don't know. I'll have to look it up while you're talking a minute. But anyway, so Josh Palmer had a 31-yard or 32-yard catch today, and he also had a 16-yard catch. He had that huge monster catch in the last drive against the Ravens last week. So he's already had 3 big plays in 2 games for the Bills. And Elijah Moore, who, I'll tell you, man, he was the darling of the spring. I thought he was the bust of the summer. I thought he did crap at camp and the preseason. Didn't really do too much week 1, but this was a revenge game. The Jets were the team, they drafted him in 2nd round, and he busted out there. Well, he had a 31-yard catch, not from Josh Allen, by the way. Major props. Mitch Trubisky, who came in when Josh's really started leaking bad. That was pretty wild to see that. But anyway, what a throw from Mitch Trubisky to Elijah Moore. Holy shit. I believe that was No, I'm wrong.
It was Palmer. It was Palmer.
It was Palmer. It was Palmer's big catch was from Mitch. Josh hit Moore on a crossing route on the left side. But anyway, whatever. A 31-yard catch for Moore. A nice end around for a touchdown. Had some Isaiah McKenzie vibes there too. So I don't know, Joe. The Palmer, Elijah Moore, that's your 3 and 4 receivers. They're doing a really good job so far.
The Bills had 9 guys catch passes today, and none of them had over 50 yards. Like, everyone eats, blah, 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 all that sort of rigmarole. I know before the start of the season, you and I talked about, like, who was going to be a bigger impact, Moore or Palmer. And I said Moore, and you said Palmer. So
I'm still right.
You're still right. But Moore had some good... Let me give credit. Let me give credit to Mitch Trubisky. Like, I've given Mitch Trubisky a lot of shit, because I hate the backup quarterback conversation. I'm usually like, backup quarterback stink. Who cares? For him to go in that game when Josh had the bloody nose and it's 3rd and 9, I think it was a 3rd and long, and he delivers to Palmer. It was a really nice throw. Like, perfect. Props to him for doing that, because dude, I don't think he's ever made a throw attempt in a game that mattered. And you know what I mean? Like, he's usually mop-up guy, or Josh takes a snap and extends
not with the Bills anyway.
Not with the Bills. That's what I mean. Not with the Bills. But it's been like, he was there last year. He hasn't thrown a meaningful pass since he was in Pittsburgh, 3 years ago or whatever it was. But he deserves credit for that. I mean, look, if he misses it, that doesn't matter. They're still going to win the game. But he deserves that. That's like a good thing. Like, if I'm Sean McDermott, I'm making a note of that when you're doing your motivational speeches. Like, he was ready to come into this game, and he came in and he threw a dagger, to extend a drive. That's kind of like their mentality of like next man up and all that cliche shit. Last
question before I take a really quick break. He'll be fine. It didn't look too fine though after the game. I don't know if you saw the presser. Where is it? Trying to pull this up, by the way. I'll get to Don Tibbetts here in a second. But where is it? I know I got a photo of it. There it is. Josh Allen's nose, man. You can already see that shit is getting swollen already. It's black and blue. I can only imagine how it's going to look tomorrow. But anyway.
He's going to get some endorsement deals for that nose. Like something like, if you bust your nose, I use this product to help me breathe better or whatever. He's on every commercial now, that guy. But yeah,
Anyway,
that was crazy.
Well, I was going to say, let me ask you this: how concerned were you? You're watching the game. We're watching the game live. Josh Allen, which, by the way, I was going nuts on Joe Brady. As it turns out, it was a read option or a run option, and Josh Allen is the one who decided to keep the ball. Big mistake. Obviously, should have handed it to James Cook. But anyway, he comes sprinting off to the sideline. You could see the blood flowing down his face. A scary moment. If you're the Buffalo Bills, you're manhandling the Jets. It's the last thing you need to see. Josh Allen bleeding all over the place.
I didn't notice the blood at first. I just saw him because I think I was looking down at my phone and I looked up and I just see him running. I was like, what the hell just happened? And Roma's like, it doesn't look good. And then Mitch comes in. I'm like, I don't care about the play. Like, show me Josh on the sideline. And it took him a little bit to get to that sideline. But yeah, I was, hey, we all are, in terms of that. And, screw Clemens, man. That guy, he gets a late hit and then he hits Josh Allen, breaks his Hollywood nose. That dude is not. I hope Deion Dawkins whips his ass at some point in the next meeting.
Well, it was a different play, but yeah, oh my God, that
Clemens. Yeah, it was two Clemens. I'm just saying, he had two. Oh. He's the one that broke his nose with that thing, and then he was the guy. Yeah, he was the guy that hit him and he had the roughing the passer, and he was the guy that hit him. That broke Josh's nose. Maybe broke Josh's nose, but it was both of them. So yeah, wow. So he can. Someone needs to make a shirt that says "Public Enemy #1." You don't go after our boy over here. So
all right, let's do this on the video side. Literally going to be back in like 5 seconds after this quick break. All right, back here with Joe from Queens, and we are going over our, like I said, some of our biggest takeaways. Pretty much all good and bad. I got to find this, Joe. I screwed up, man. I got to, that's not Josh. There it is. My guy, Don Tibbetts from Channel 7 is going to be with me Monday night. Most of you are going to be listening to this on Monday. But anyway, Don will be with me Monday night, 8 p.m., Imperial Pizza, the South Buffalo location, 1035 Abbey Road. We'll be talking Bills, of course, going over our biggest takeaways after watching this game back. Don was in New Jersey covering the game, so it'll be a fun show. Make sure you tune into that. If you can't be there live, if you can be there, stop up to Imperial, get yourself some wings, 20 wings for $20. They got a special going on, and say what's up, Joseph. If not, we will be live here on the stream side as well. All right, let's get back into this game. The defensive game plan, Joe, you mentioned this earlier in the first half. It was a really good game plan. They were not going to let the Jets run. The Jets wanted to run. The Bills were not letting it happen. Lots of effective corner blitzes. Christian Bedford, by the way, early in the game, there were a couple plays where the Jets really kind of, it could have went the other way early on, and the Jets could have gotten in the game. But Christian Bedford out of reverse made a great tackle. It's a 10-yard loss. If you don't make that play, you could see even just on the broadcast, it was nothing but open space for the guy, I don't remember who it was anymore. But anyway, he had a great run stop. Trey White had a really good timed run blitz as well. They blitzed enough. They were pretty effective. I thought Cole Bishop kind of made a name for himself. I know some people in the chat were kind of ripping on him a little bit. I don't agree. I think Cole Bishop played a pretty damn football game today. Physical game. He got a kind of a dumb penalty out of bounds. I actually liked it, though. I didn't give a shit. The Bills were winning that game, kind of making a statement. Anyway, the secondary, to your point that you said earlier, and you're right, they're really aggressive in helping Taylor Rapp, too. They did a great job of stopping the run. So give Bobby Babbitt some credit. I thought with Ed Oliver and Jerrod Johnson both out, I was worried like you and a lot of people. They just devised some plans, man. They put a lot of guys in the box and some really good time secondary blitzes.
Yeah, sorry, I went to the finish too quickly on the I missed it on my notes. I got to start printing these notes out. Right, I got to print these notes out, man. I know you work hard for your notes, and I don't. Yeah, look, the defense was great. The funniest thing was like I'm looking, when I'm on Blue Sky, I post like stats after like a quarter or a half a quarter, whatever, and it was like the Jets' total yardage just did not move at all throughout. It's like, are they going to break 100 at some point in this game? And then, like you talked about earlier, they did with Tyrod, but like, yeah, the defense was great. They were really aggressive up front. They couldn't run on them. Justin Fields couldn't pass. Look, they beat the Jets' asses. And I'm not want to say that's where you do the bad teams, but it was like before I was like, oh, the Jets kind of good, who knows? But they were bad, and that's what you do. And it was one of those games where, I always talk about that. There's games that Josh Allen has to constantly carry this team, and like he did last week, and it's always good to have someone else or a unit that's not the offense carry the load. And I thought they did today. Like, they dominated the Jets offense. Like, if Mitch Trubisky played in this game and started, the Bills scored 20 points, and then because and they win because the defense holds the Jets down.
How about
the defense held it.
How about this live comment on the video site? Kind of speaking of what you're talking about. I never thought of it this way. This is a pretty telling comment. It's from Jason M. He says, Justin Fields played into the fourth quarter, and Mr. Trubisky still had more passing yards. That is all you need to know. Mitch threw one pass before cleanup time at the end. I think he might have thrown an incomplete pass late in the last few minutes. But, yeah, that 32-yard dart to Josh Palmer, that is more passing yards than Justin Fields had this entire football game. A lot of that had to do with the Bills, some pressure, some good coverage, and also – let's just say what it is. Justin Fields, even when he had time, he made some terrible throws. There was a first drive of the game. Garrett Wilson soundly beat Christian Benford. This was the Jets' first drive of the game. They punted. They got the ball first, and he missed them. Justin Fields missed an open Garrett Wilson. The Jets punted. Yeah. The Bills came down, and they scored a touchdown. But anyway, so the secondary was good. I thought the key to this game coming in was Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard having to play much better. I thought they both stunk against the Ravens, especially Terrell Bernard. Yeah. I thought they played very well. We saw a lot of the summer Matt Milano in this game. Now, I'm being careful. It looked like he did something to his hamstring. You can see the play where it happened, but he played a little more after that. I don't know. We'll see. Sean McDermott said after the game he's a little bit dinged up, but you never know with Sean.
They were also... Yeah.
I'm sorry. He says that about Trey White, and then Trey White misses 3 weeks. So who the hell knows? But he played well. Bernard didn't really have stats, but he was just sound and responsible, was sitting in the right gaps. He didn't make mistakes like he did the first week. What were you saying?
Tracy Wilson, who is a sideline reporter, said that they were pacing Milano because of the Thursday night game. So that's why he didn't play much in the second half, because they knew they got to play him. They got to play him in
Sean did say, though, Sean McDermott did say after the game that he got dinged up. So
he did. Dinged up, but maybe they precaution. We'll see. But you're right. Sean's weird about injuries.
Well, regardless, he played really good. Milano and Bernard were both really good. I'll tell you what, too. Dorian Williams, I got to say this. He played some, and he looked really good, too. There was a blitz, and I can't wait to watch. I know you're a big film bro guy.
Oh, can't wait.
You can't wait.
I can't wait for those vines you're going to post on Twitter X, and I can't wait to read all those.
I'm going to post one clip. I'm telling you, I'm going to post. It was in the fourth quarter. Dorian Williams blitzed on one play, and I swear to you, he hit Breece Hall so freaking hard. I cannot believe Breece Hall didn't go flying out of the stadium. That's how hard Dorian Williams hit him. So anyway, there was that to flipping back to the other side of the ball again. The running game. Again, the Jets, they struggled on defense even last week against Pittsburgh, but there's some good players on that team. One of them I'm going to talk about in a second. The Bills ran for over 200 yards. Early in the fourth quarter, they were over 200 yards, which leads to my other point that I really liked. One of the things about the Jets that scared me the most was Quinnen Williams. He is a all-pro. He's a stud defensive tackle. I'm like, this guy could wreck games. And I don't know that the Bills' offensive line will have to watch. I don't know that they played really, really good. But I'll tell you this, Quinnen Williams had one play. And outside of that, Quinnen Williams was an absolute, complete, utter non-factor in this game. So the Bills took the Jets' most dominant defensive player and they made him into a nothing burger.
Yeah, it was a whole domination in terms of that. I mean, there's not too many things to dislike about this game. But they really did a great thing in terms of minimizing the star players. I air quote. Well, some of them are stars for the Jets where they just didn't show up.
I think you had, and I'm going to pull up a comment from on the ball in the live chat. I think he's right. I think you were wrong about this too. With Tracy Wolfson, Glass Milano pulled his hammy. All right, let's relax on the Glass Milano shit. But anyway, that's why he was out. He says they pulled Trey to manage his reps, and I do remember.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Run the Ball. Even though I don't like that name, run the ball. No, don't run the ball. No, it's fine. They can run the ball.
Joe does not like running the football, man. I'll tell you, but.
By the way, Burrow, they just announced he's probably going to get surgery. He's going to be out like 3 months. Which
what? Really?
Yeah, that's what Rappaport just said. So I'll get you the exact thing.
Yeah, read it off, man. We're live
with
here.
With torn ligaments and a severe turf toe injury, Joe Burrow likely option is surgery 3 months from now is December 14th. If the Bengals at 2-0 stay alive, Burrow has a chance to be back. Just so you know, the Bills play the Bengals on December 7th, so he could be. Yeah, so. But man, that's a big loss for them, man. And
well, they're 2-0, and they've won 2 really close, kind of ugly football games. But yeah, that's big news, man. Joe Burrow potentially down here for
I wonder if would you consider like Joe Burrow injury prone. Like you think about it, like his first year, he blows out his ACL. Then, like 2-3 years ago, I think he messed up his shoulder and he was out like for 2 months. And that's when the Bengals were really bad. I think he got banged up a little bit last year, and now he's got a freaking turf toe broken for the next 3 months. Like he's had some injury history, that guy, a little bit.
Yeah, well, 2023 he missed 7 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020 he only played in 10. So yeah, for sure, he definitely.
He's had some long-term stuff, but one thing I wanted to ask you, do you think the Bills have a kicking controversy with Prater? Yeah. You think that? Yeah.
I hope it's not a controversy. You know, my wife and I, we watched the game, my son together, his girl, we did our thing, all 4 of us. We usually do. I said this during the game. There is an odd, and you know what? Good call bringing him in here, because this is one of the things I like. I feel odd. I said this last week too. I feel oddly comfortable when Matt Prater is kicking the football. Not that Tyler Bass can't be effective, but I always, even if it's a 36-yard field goal or an extra point, I always feel a little more on edge when Tyler Bass is out there to kick the football. I have this calmness with Matt Prater, and I mean, for good reason. He hasn't even come close to missing a kick so far. 6 field goals. How many extra points? Lots of extra points. 5, 7, 8.
He had a 52-yarder today?
Yeah, he had a 52-yarder today, so it's not that he doesn't have any leg either. Now, can Tyler Bass hit that 57, 58 to 63-yarder that Prater can't hit? I would say yes, Bass can do that, and I don't think that Prater can at this age. But you know what? The accuracy, there's just something about it that I put it this way. If he continues to kick like he's kicking, Tyler Bass's injury, trust me, and when I tell you, is going to last longer, whether his pelvic is sore or not. Somebody might go in that locker room and punch him in his pelvic to keep it sore. Because I'll tell you right now, because Matt Prater ain't going nowhere kicking the ball the way he is, man. So good call. Special teams too, by the way. A little quick, sneaky little bonus like in there. That new guy that they got, Sam Franklin, number 28, he's really good, man. They had
good coverage today, by the way. Like
he had 2 of those tackles. He was in on a third. The special teams did well today. To go back to, it's going to be interesting, man, because they could have cut Bass or benched him, whatever you want, so many times last year. Like it was every 3 post-game shows. You and I were like, "Oh, what's going on with Bass? What's the F?" And they gave him chance after chance after chance. Never brought in another guy. They could have brought someone in, and then they had to because of this injury. So I don't know what's going to happen when he's healthy in terms of like what they're going to do. They've seemed to be been loyal to him for most of this time. So we'll see what happens. Like obviously, look, Prater could have a terrible game. He's 41. I don't know. I would love to know the nuances of kicking. Like, can you be 41 and still be a good kicker? Possibly. What the hell? Like, your foot does your foot get tired or your toenails get ingrown like, older people do? I don't freaking know. But I think I think Tyler Bass just has that ability to hit you a 60-yarder that Matt Prater can't. But anything else, they're going to suit Prater.
You know what they're going to do? They're gonna have Prater do all the short ones and then bring Tyler in for 50+ yards, dude. Like when they had Brad DeLuiso and Norwood that one year or something like that. You know,
Run the ball says in the chat too. Guys are nailing 60-yarders left and right this year. Look, Chris Boswell with the Steelers beat the Jets on a 60-yarder. That kicker from Dallas today hit a 65 65-yarder.
Yeah, it was insane.
Freaking nuts. All right, so listen. There's so much to like about this game from a Bills perspective. I kind of struggled a little bit to find a few things that I didn't like about this game, but I'll give you one. Did it hurt them? Of course it didn't hurt. They were winning 30-3 until a garbage time touchdown at the end. This game was never in doubt. But not one, but two Dawson Knox drops again. Two that hit him dead smack in the hands, too. Got to make those freaking catches, and he makes some good plays. He blocks well. He can run after the ball. He can run you over, and he does make some good catches. But he just has stone hands at times, and you never know when it's coming. Like, I don't trust Dawson Knox, and that's the problem. I keep fearing that there's going to be a key 3rd and 3 or 4th and 3 in the fourth quarter of a close game, and Josh Allen is going to fake it to James Cook, and he's going to roll out, and he's going to try to hit Dawson Knox, and the dude is going to drop it. I can't trust him to reel a catch in. I can't trust him ever. So if we're looking for things to not like about this game, Dawson Knox, to me, is one of them. Again, not one, but two drops in this football game, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a disappointment for like the last 3 years. And I've not, even when he was, unquote good, I wasn't a fan of his. I thought he was okay, and they gave him a lot of money. But, I feel like the Bills, they haven't gotten great production out of their tight ends like the last year and a half, like going back to last season. It's kind of been like them trying to figure it out.
The second highest cap hit on this team, dude.
Is
somebody,
him.
Mark pointed out, I just looked it up. Yeah. I'm like, this dude's, Mark must be full of shit in the live chat. He's not.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. He's got a 14.5 cap hit right now. Holy shit, man. Yeah. Anyway, again, it's not even that he's a bad player. He's just so freaking inconsistent.
Yeah. But yeah, he's inconsistent. I mean, if you want to, I know that's like kind of your bone to pick. Another bone I would have to pick with is like the injuries. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I know this happens every year. Every team gets injuries, but it's just like, enough. Like, it's just, dude, did we end up finding out who stepped on Ed Oliver, by the way? Or were people with the media in Little Italy taking selfies of pasta or what? Like,
here's what I'll tell you. I thought it was people making jokes, but too many people were saying it on Twitter. And I think a lot of people believe it, that fucking one of his horses is the reason. Like one of the horses mangled his foot or something.
What? No.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of people on social media who are saying it was one of his horses. I'm like, well, was that horse at practice? Because reportedly this happened sometime at practice on Wednesday.
That has to be a joke come on.
A lot of people, I thought so too. A lot of people.
Tell your buddies on the Bills beat, bro. They're like, call Mr. Ed. And see if we can find out if the horse was behind all this shit. Oh, my goodness. But, there's the injuries in general. It's just like, enough of this already. I know it happens everywhere, but, I digress. But, and again, it was like your typical, like, Josh Allen, I'll give him credit. He kind of struggled at the start of the game. I think it was like 6 of 16 or 8 of 16. And then he kind of
8 of 16 in the first half.
Yeah, then he kind of got into a rhythm, and he was much better. So that's fine. Like, yeah, I mean, I agree with you with the Dawson Knox stuff. You hit on Ray Davis, like with the running back, like him and Ty weren't very effective. I think Ray just has to. He's dancing too much, and he needs to just hit the hole straight ahead. Like,
no more. People said that in the comment too. I agree. I just don't think he's on that level, though. I just don't think he's on that level.
You love him. You loved him. He was your all timer last year. You turn on the young guys. You are a cougar who dumps them. You know that, right? Because you're a cougar when it comes to young players, but then when they struggle, you dump them. You're like a Samantha from freaking Sex and the City. That's what we're going to call you from now on. Pandering Samantha Moran. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. If it was one of Ed Oliver's horses, which one do you think it would have been? I'll give you the choices, all right?
Okay.
These are the horses that he named off on Hard Knocks, okay?
Oh, wow, okay.
April, Sugar, Coffee, Caledonia, Oreo, Sissy, Sassy, Chaos, Mona Lisa, Gigi, Cruz, Panic Snatcher. I thought it was Panty Snatcher. I liked it a lot better when it was Panty Snatcher. Blocky, Prom, or Budweiser. What's a freaking what the hell are up with some of those names, man?
I'm gonna go with Sissy. If someone named me Sissy, I'm gonna kick his ass. So I'm gonna go with Sissy is the one that stepped on Ed Oliver's foot to injure him, I guess.
Well, he did.
Or Mr. Ed or Don. I'm trying to think of all the horses. Don. Oh, Pyomai. Don't forget him from Sopranos. Pyomai. I still think Paulie killed Pyomai, by the way. I'll go that to my grave with that. Anyway,
Oreo was the one that Ed Oliver actually said was aggressive and almost killed him before. But anyway, man.
Lord,
it wasn't his horse, but I would like to know, just for the shits and giggles anyway, who's the culprit, who's the perpetrator that hurt him. Anyway, another thing I didn't like too much, although I'm going to be fair with Joe Brady. I thought the play call was a little bit too safe, especially at other times. But I will say this. Let me know if you agree. You probably don't. I also understand the Buffalo Bills, whether you like it or not, folks, and it's very obvious now, the Buffalo Bills do not want to turn the ball over. Their mindset is, you could turn the ball over, you could take chances. I'll let Josh make plays when he's got to make plays, but we are not going to turn the ball over. We're not going to beat ourselves. You play a team like the New York Jets, and it was very obvious right away that they were not as good as the Buffalo Bills, and the only way the Jets were going to stay in that game is if the Bills made mistakes that allowed the Jets back in the game. So while running the ball on 3rd and 4 might piss you off at the time, or being very predictable with a lot of the play calls, they're not turning the ball over. We're 2 games in. Last year, Joe, the offense was historically good. Part of the reason was they never turned the ball over. This year, we're 2 games in. They've scored 71 points in 2 games, and guess what? They have not turned the football over. So Joe Brady's play calling is safe and annoying at times, but I also understand.
Look, they did that last year. I think a big part of that was Sean didn't want his defense on the field all that much. He wanted to protect them by having more longer sustained drives. They're not a big play passing offense. I don't even know what their longest pass this year has been. It doesn't feel like it's been a lot. Like, they haven't had like a 50-yard pass play or anything like that. Even going back to last year, they weren't really good on the deep ball. That's what they want to do, and it's worked. Will it work against the bigger offensive teams? We'll see. But right now, not to get ahead of myself, but Joe Burrow is out for 3 months. The Chiefs are 0-2, and you did beat the Ravens. So it's things have already, after 2 weeks, things have changed for 2 of the 4 teams that I put in the echelon of the Bills. You got to watch out for these teams.
100%. A lot of comments in the live chat, by the way. And I don't want to talk about the cities. I want to get to some other things too, but there's not any deep threats. I don't agree. Josh Palmer and Keon Coleman both can get down the football field, and Elijah Moore's a burner too. I don't agree with what a lot of people are saying.
They haven't had that big 40, 50, but they, like I said, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. We heard that all last year. It's what they want to do. They don't want to force the ball. They want their defense to be fresh. The 25 defensive line rotation of doom needs to be fresh. Everyone needs to be fresh in defense. It's Sean McDermott's defense.
They had 4 plays today of 31 or more yards.
Well, great. We'll go and post about it and put them on your vines or whatever.
They haven't break it down the all 22. Josh gets in the pocket and slings it 45, 50 yards on the field.
I'm just saying I was saying
that yet. I agree.
I was saying last year, but yes, they made some plays. It's fine. It's dink and dunk. It works for now, but there are moments you have to say, I think about Michael Jordan. Back in the 90s, they had the triangle offense, right? And it was kind of like a good offense, but it really didn't make sense for Jordan to be in it. But they did it. They did the triangle offense. But in the 4th quarter, when they're down by 6, Jordan would be like, F this triangle offense, I'm taking over. And that's Josh Allen. F this dink and dunk, I'm going to run from, like he did against the Ravens. And that's what he does. So, as you said, yes, they want to do it this way and not turn the ball over. And I understand it. We'll see with the wide receivers. Like I said, Palmer had a good game today. Last week was I thought it was Keon Coleman's day, and today was Palmer's day. A little bit here and there, but Palmer's day today. In terms of that. But again, they had 9 pass catchers, and no one had more than 50 yards, which is kind of funny.
Khalil Shakir had 1 catch in this game. Didn't matter. Didn't need him. I need to. I'm going to bring this up today, but we don't really need to talk about it today because this is definitely one of the things I want to watch back, and I'm looking for it on the All 22. I'm talking about nitpicky stuff. Not nitpicky stuff because it wasn't a strength today. The pass protection, I didn't think was very great. They're watching on the broadcast. Josh Allen got moved out of the pocket. He got sacked, I know, at least once, and he got pressured a little more than you want to see. So I wanted to bring that up. Let me ask you one more question here. This is actually from a Jets point of view. All right, so you're 0-1. You got a brand new coach. You showed a lot of fight against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think you won a lot of goodwill with the fans who want to believe that this is a different version of the New York Jets. Tough-minded, hard-nosed head coach. You are down, so it's 4th and 1. You're at your own 28-yard line. Midway through the third quarter, you're down 23-3, and you punt. You're a Jets fan.
Yeah, that was.
You're surrendering that game, aren't you? You're down 20. You're 4th and 1 from your. I don't care that you're on your own 28. You gotta go. You gotta go for that. They didn't. They punted. I thought that was.
Yeah, that was coward shit. I mean, that felt like much. They had no confidence in Justin Fields. I mean, look, Justin Fields did nothing today. I mean, as I said, he's a giant. He's a tease. Like, he's got the skill sets, and like, he gets a lot of hype at times. But like, man, it's like once a month he'll put on a decent game, and the other times he's dog shit. You know, sure. And I don't know. I'd go to Tyrod if I were them, to be honest with you, because I think he's a better passer than Fields is.
It's funny, when he came into the game, I was like, you watch. I told Shane, I said, you watch. He's going to avoid some sacks, and he's going to make some plays. And look, I mean, the pressure.
He's got it. He's the king of garbage touchdowns against the Bills. Like the last game, if you remember last year against the Jets, he scored 2 garbage touchdowns against them, if you remember that.
When his career's when it's over with, which may be never, because he might play till he's in his 50s, and he might still run around and avoid sacks into his 50s too, but someday he's going to be done playing. He's going to go. Do you think he's going to go down as a guy who gets very fondly remembered as a Buffalo Bill? Like, he might lead a charge someday, stuff like that. I think he should. I think he deserves it.
No, definitely. I think he will. At that moment when he left, I still think he got a lot of shit. And it's a little bit kind of like Fitz. Like when Fitz was here and he was done, I don't think there were a lot of people that liked him. Like, they were over Fitz, and it was like, get the hell out of here. Then like time came. Started liking him, but also you found Josh Allen. Like, it's kind of like if you find, like, I don't know, I guess I'll use an example. Like, you find the girl of your dreams, and then your exes are like, oh yeah, you were pissed at your exes for at the moment, but then you're so much better off that you're looking back like, oh yeah, they were fun, yeah, but look at how I'm doing now. So you look at them a little bit better. But yeah, I think he'll get a little bit of recognition. Especially that the Bills are so successful. Sure. They're much successful now with Josh, than they were, then, but they'll let him. They let anyone lead the freaking charge. So yeah, they'll let him do that.
All right. So the Bills are now 2-0. Miami is now 0-2. Miami on a short week is coming to Buffalo on Thursday night. I'll tell you what, if I'm Mike McDaniel, I think if I lose that football game, I'm getting fired, because I don't think they're going to fire him tomorrow. Tomorrow being Monday, when you're listening to this today, it's too short of a week, too hard to get prepared. But I'll tell you what, they got that 10-day break after. If you're 0-3 and you lose, which they're probably they're favored to lose, I'm sure, to the Bills, that could be the end. But anyway, the Bills, so they got Miami on Thursday night. Then they got the Saints at home in week 4, and then they got the Patriots at home Sunday Night Football, week 5. This is a great chance for the Bills to be 5-0 and basically have the AFC East. I mean, they beat New England and Miami along the way to go 5-0. They're basically shutting it down. Forget about Thanksgiving. Hell, man, forget about Halloween. This shit might be over early in October at the rate things are going right now.
Would it be the 6th straight division title if they get win the division? 6, right? Wow. That's insane. Thursday's game will be interesting. I agree with you. Like, if Miami gets curb stomped, and it could look, Miami's been weird under McDaniels against the Bills. Like, there's some games where the Bills have just annihilated them, and there's other games where Miami has kept it very close. Like last year's game, Miami probably should have was super close to beating them. They had the Tyler Bass 60-yarder to win it.
Jordan Poyer's
Poyer lit up. Yeah, he lit up Keon, and then the earlier game in that year they obliterated Miami. That was the James Cook had 3 touchdowns and Tua got hurt. Yeah. It will be an interesting game. But you're right. Like, in terms of if they lose and they fire him, then it's like that's when you do it because you have like a longer break because you have like the extra 10 days or whatever because you're not playing until Sunday.
I think they've quit on them. I really now they've battled back. Look, also, I don't want this to turn into a Miami discussion because we got other things that I want to get to before we get off the air. But Tua was terrible again. I mean, he had some stats, but man, the interceptions he throws are just freaking mind-boggling. And look, they can either come on Thursday and play desperation or season's on the line. That's the way you think they would play. Or you could have a team that I think might be, at this point, completely checked out. But anyway, that's this Thursday. You mentioned it earlier, the other big news in terms of the Bills, because, look, the Kansas City Chiefs, until you beat them or until somebody beats them in the playoffs, they are the measuring stick. And they lost again. Close game to Philly. But here's the bottom line, dude. The Chiefs are 0-2. First time they've been 0-2 since 2014, which is also the last time that they didn't make the playoffs. And you look at their schedule. Baltimore and Detroit are there over the next 4 weeks. That's 2 games. Plus they're at Jacksonville. Kansas City could be a team that, they're going to be scratching and clawing right now. Forget about like getting the number 1 seed. They're going to have to fight. I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs, but they're going to have to fight for that division because the Chargers look good. Denver lost today to Indy. Indy's 2-0, by the way. Danny Jones.
Yeah, that game was crazy at the end, and Taylor's been running well for them. Denver's like Bo Nix has looked good. Like the first couple, like he looked good today. I thought Nix.
Sure.
I'm really curious about to see how the Chargers do tomorrow night. I think they're playing the Raiders
tonight for most people.
Oh, is it tonight? Okay, yeah, well, right. Monday night, whatever. I'm curious to see what they're doing. Look, the Chiefs. I feel Travis Kelce looks good. Like he looks better, I think, than he did last year in terms of what he's played. But they just have no wide receiver help right now at all. Like they just don't have.
They've also played 2 really good football teams.
No, that as well. I mean, but still, we'll see what happens. They'll be fun. They'll be there, like you said. But
let's switch gears. Let's get to let's go back to the Jets. Let's make fun of them some more. Yeah, you do your Mount Flushmore, which for people who are new who might not know, most people do a Mount Rushmore, the 4 best of everything. Well, we like to do the Mount Flushmore, the worst of everything. Yeah. And today, Joe has selected worst New York Jets of all time. So if you're in the comments, I got 4 as well. So play along. I don't know what Joe has cooking here. I have no idea.
And I would say definitely comments like, look, I don't have this like a formula down for like the worst Jets. I just think of when I think of this Jet, I hate him and I want him to die. Look, I've been in New York for 23 years. And, like, I can handle Giants fans talking shit, and they really don't. They're kind of modest. And I'm like, yeah, you guys have won a lot. Good for you. I will put, talk to the hand when it comes to the Jets. Like, you haven't been to a Super Bowl since the 60s. Your best player of all time is a drunk. You can't talk shit to me. Like, get out of here. So I've always hated the Jets more. Probably my least favorite team in this area. The Yankees are getting up there, too. Like, I'm not really fond of those.
Relax with that.
Rich shitheads, but anyways, I digress. So this is my Mount. Like, I just think of these guys and I hate them and I want them to get off my planet. Browning Nagel. Okay, this is a quarterback from like the early 90s. He was the quarterback for the Destroyers, Buffalo indoor team. Your name's Browning. Like, what the fudge is Browning? Like, Browning Nagel. Like, terrible name. Goofy. I think Jets fans have nightmares about him, but Browning Nagel's terrible. He's on the Flushmore. Get him out. Drop him in the toilet. Get him out of here. Gotta go with Rich Kotite, one of the worst coaches of all time. You talk to any Jets fan, and they'll talk about that 90, I think it was 96 that they went 1-15 with Keyshawn, and Frank Wright was actually on that team, and I think like a couple other guys, and they were just awful. But like that dude just is a putz, and Kotite. This is a dumb name, Kotite. I don't know. I don't like that name either. Wayne Krebet. Don't like that guy either. He has got one of the most punchable faces I ever saw. Like, he's just definitely, if you had like a frat movie and like there's a bully and there's like a little pipsqueak that's like, hey, yeah, get in that. That's Wayne Krebet. Like, get rid of Wayne Krebet. Can't stand him. And of course, this guy has Buffalo ties, sadly. Rex Ryan, like, get the hell out of here. Rex called it to be an upset possibility today, and again, so did I. So I'm a douche too as well. But like, no one likes Rex Ryan. I don't even know why he's on TV. He's been out of the league for like 7-8 years. He's just bluster, and I'm sick of his ass too. So that's my entire Flushmore of Jets in terms of like people I just don't like. 2 coaches, a quarterback, a crappy wide receiver. Actually, Corbett was okay, but he just had such a punchable face. I couldn't handle him. So that's my Flushmore.
I have one as well. However, ours are different, whereas yours are not necessarily the worst Jets of all time. They're just ones that you like the least of all time. I threw together a quick, and I'll be quick too, list of the Mount Flushmore, I think the worst players.
I'm sure you Googled this before we get on the air.
I spent 5 minutes doing it, all right? Let me just tell you right now. So it's not like I did a bunch of research. I don't care enough.
Sure.
But anyway, first one, Blair Thomas, a running back. Mm-hmm. He was a 2nd overall pick in 1990. He got hurt, I believe, to be fair, but the Jets passed over Emmitt Smith and a lot of other great players to take Blair Thomas. So I got him on there. I got Ken O'Brien for no other reason than in 1983. Now, he was like the 26th pick. So, like Kelly and Elway and a couple other guys, not Boomer, but a few were off the table. But the Jets took Ken O'Brien over Dan Marino late in the first round, and he sucked. So, there you go.
Whoa, Ken O'Brien didn't suck. He was okay.
He kind of
No, he was okay. Ken didn't suck. But yes, yes.
He's Mitch
Marino.
Trubisky. He's Mitch Trubisky in today's football.
Man, I think he was a little bit better than that. He had a 500-yard game once, or close to it. Him and Marino went at it like in the Meadowlands, like 86. See, even I remember that. I was like 6. You were like 20 at that point. Your memory's shot, buddy. Anyway, keep going.
My third is a recent one, a 2nd overall pick. I just don't like him either. Zach Wilson.
Oh, yeah, he's a puss.
That set the Jets back big time.
Stifler. That's what he looks like.
He's not a good quarterback. And then the last one, this low-key may be one of the worst draft picks ever. Not just for the Jets, but any team. Vernon Golston. They took 6th in 2008. And he played 3 years with the Jets, Joe. How many sacks do you think he got in 3 years?
I remember like 0, I'm going to say.
Literally 0.
Yeah.
Not a sack in his career. 3 seasons, 6 overall pick. Never had a sack in his career.
Aaron Maben, man.
Out of the NFL. He was out of. Aaron Maben at least had a little bit of a rejuvenation with the Jets for a year before he completely faded out. But Vernon Golston was just freaking awful, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go. Mark, I'm looking at some of the comments. Mark's says Pat stole us from WGR. What did I steal from WGR?
Well, yeah, you definitely steal people's takes. I don't know if you steal WGR takes, Pat, but you definitely steal.
This hasn't been a take-filled episode.
No, but I think you still. I don't know what
Mark,
you stole.
you tell me in a live chat. What did I steal?
Oh, the Vernon thing.
Oh, the Vernon. No, I didn't.
What are you talking? Yeah, Mark, come on. Don't be calling out Pat. Only I can call out Pat. Me,
Mark.
Only I can call out Pat, Brody. But no, you can't.
Are you
everyone
one of those
can.
guys who you'll shit on me, but you don't let other people shit on me?
No, everyone can shit on you, but they got to be kind of right. But maybe he's right. Who knows? Some of the comments, Ralph Wilson Sr., my buddy, Adam Gase, yeah, he was terrible. That was a good one. He also mentioned Mark Gastineau, who dated your girl Bridget Nielsen back in the day, and
that's right. I forgot he did. Mark Gastineau was a great freaking player. He might have been on your Flushmore, but he was a great player.
Yeah, but he's an asshole. Yeah, but he's on there. Who else was that? Blair Thomas, I did have him on my list because I only had him on the list because his name's Blair. Like, what the fucking kind of name is Blair? Like, do you know anyone named Blair?
Blair Witch Project.
Okay, that's it. But
Blair Underwood, an actor.
Oh, Blair Underwood, yeah. Okay. But that's it. But Blair's such a terrible name.
Blair from The Facts of Life, 80s TV sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Kyle Brady, he's terrible too. Like, screw him. He's an awful, like, we just named Jets. Oh, Curtis Martin, like, get off my team. I couldn't stand that guy. He was so good.
Linda Blair. That was Linda Blair. Linda Blair. Oh, all right, Linda Blair. By the way, I've kind of been not paying attention to you too much because I'm also, as we're streaming this live on the video side, the Emmys are going on right now. And I don't really know most of these shows, but we do have one show in common we both like, Severance. And also, I am a huge fan of The Pit. We're going to get off the air before they get to, like, the best drama.
I'll be sleeping by the time they get to the best drama. So
the dude, Milchick, Tremel Tillman, he won Best Supporting Actor. He got an Emmy for that. That's pretty cool.
Milchick's the man, yeah.
Lead actress, Britt Lower, she's Helly from Severance. She won Best Lead Actress. She just got an Emmy. Like I said, and you don't even watch. You haven't watched The Pit, have you?
No, I know it's on your list, which means it's not on my list. So,
well, then you're dropping the ball. I'll tell you right
okay,
now.
I will get, dude. I have a kid. I'm so tired. I gotta work and I gotta talk to you. I gotta sing you songs every day.
Break the screen time rule. Let your kid watch The Pit. He'll grow up and want to be a doctor.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question because we haven't brought up his name, and I know it pisses you off. Curtis Samuel doesn't play again. Like, what's going? Do you think there is no trade market for him? Right? There's nothing. Nothing.
He's I'll tell you what, I expected him to play this week. I didn't care about the first week. The first week I'm like, all right, listen, he has missed most of summer with injuries, with the hamstring. Then he left. He didn't play in the last preseason game because of personal reasons. So I'm like, all right, I get it. He's not going to play, and Moore's going to get the nod against the Ravens. And I'll tell you right now, Tyrell Shavers is a core 4 special teams guy, so he's going to play. But then this game, I was surprised. I predicted he was going to play and score a touchdown in my preseason or my predictions on Friday. No, and I tell you what, if they all are healthy, when's he going to get on the field? Elijah Moore showed you something today.
Yeah.
So they're not going to play 6 receivers. There's no path right now other than injury, I feel like, for him getting onto this roster. By the way, completely unrelated to, while it's on my mind, I'll talk about him more tomorrow. Zion Law got elevated from the practice squad with that Oliver's injury. I thought he played pretty well. I say that because Jordan Phillips didn't. And part of the reason why I think Jordan Phillips didn't get brought up is because he just hasn't been here that long. Maybe Curtis Samuel just doesn't have the reps. Maybe that was the reason why he didn't play this game again. But again, you got to stay with the hot hand. Going back to your Tyler Bass thing, you don't remove a kicker who's been perfect. And he's still got 2 more games before he's even eligible to be back. But that's kind of the way it's going to be. Elijah Moore's the hot hand. I think that they're going to ride him, dude. I really do. And by the way, I'm not going to today because we're winding down. We're going to get out of here in a few minutes. Actually, I wanted to talk about the boxing fight on Netflix over this weekend. I'll save that for a show later this week.
I don't want to hear that.
All right, let me go through a couple comments here. Alex Barber said, expectations for Bosa were definitely too low. I think the expectations were too low for Joey Bosa because of the injury history. And we'll see. It's only been 2 games.
Yeah, it's only been, look.
Is
Alex,
Joey Bosa the best player on defense through the 2 games for the Bills?
No, Ed Oliver. I mean, I thought Ed Oliver, what he did the first game was better than what Joey Bosa did today, and against better competition. But okay. I'll give you the best, second best. Yeah, maybe. Let me think. I'm going through all the players. Yeah, probably second best, I would say.
Yeah. Well, a great, very promising start, but I think expectations were low because of the health risk.
Sure.
This is what we saw today. If you get this Joey Bosa for 17 weeks, boy, this defense is going to be a lot better than they were in week 1 anyway. Michael Carliso said Terrell Bernard is a DeMar Hamlin of middle linebackers. No. Terrell Bernard is actually the opposite. I think Terrell Bernard's a great athlete. That's his strength. DeMar's slow. Terrell's not slow. Terrell Bernard's undersized. He played terrible against the Ravens, but I thought he was pretty good in this football game. I still not completely 100% sold on Terrell Bernard.
Do you feel better? Thinking about what players we've seen, and like it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Who do you feel better about? Who you were concerned about before this season, and vice versa? So who has dropped the biggest stock in your eyes versus whose stock has risen the most for you?
That's a great question. In terms of stock rising,
for
you're
you,
not going to
like,
see it in the stat box. Mm-hmm. I think that rookie tight end Jackson Hawes is really good.
Cougar,
he's a great blocker. Okay. He had a catch again in this game. He had a big 29-yard catch. Dawson Knox 2 drops. Mm-hmm. I think Jackson Hawes' stock is going up compared to what I expected, you said. You know what I mean? I'm not saying who's just been good and who's not been good. Defensive side of the ball, Joey Bosa. I expected Joey Bosa to be kind of a watered-down version of what he used to be, but he's not. He's been really good. So stock up. You said stock down, too. Compared to what I expected, I don't know. I wanted to say DaQuan Jones, but
We've always
I
kind
didn't
of felt.
expect. I didn't expect much.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, I'm being unfair to him because DaQuan Jones is perfectly fine from what I saw in this football game. Maybe Taylor Rapp, but he was perfectly fine today too. I don't know. It's really tough to ask me after a 30-10 win.
Yeah, I would say overall in the two games, like I thought Trey White played pretty well, and I kind of thought he was, possibly going to be watched. I thought he played well today against only one game, so I thought his stock. What do you mean? I thought his stock went a little bit up, dude. We even thought he was dead. Like he wasn't going to come. You didn't all the camp bros say he had a horrible camp, and you guys were all ready to cut him.
I thought he had a good camp.
But people didn't. Well, no, but the Giants game. Remember the great Giants preseason game that you guys all fantasize and. We're talking about for 5 days. I thought I would say his stock has gone up for me a little bit. In terms of stock down, for me, I would say maybe Shakir a little bit. And it's mainly because I have had Shakir as my disappointment player going back to our predictions from a couple weeks ago. But he's been a little bit of a disappointment, I would say a little bit. Like he hasn't gotten through, and he'll probably have a Shakir game. We'll have like 9 for 110 yards.
I got one. I got one for a disappointment. I don't agree with you, by the way, on Trey White. Let me say that first and foremost.
You don't like Trey White's game? You thought he was good today?
He had a nice run. He had a really nice run blitz today. He also had another nice tackle too. His tackling, ironically, is supposed to be the weak part of his game. It was good. He hasn't been tested. Look, there was one pass play. I tweeted about this. It was on the first drive. He had gave up a 19-yard cushion to freaking Arian Smith. I think Smith either dropped it, there was a penalty on the play anyway. It didn't count, but
it's only 2 games. You know what? You should have put Ray Davis on your list because I know you loved Ray Davis before this season. He was on your Cougar watch.
Yeah,
we're gonna start doing a Cougar watch for
that's
Pat.
A good one. I say the offense gets significantly more predictable and less effective when Ray Davis is out there instead of James Cook. And he was okay the first 2 games, but you know what? You pay a guy $20 million. I'd like to see Greg Rizzo start to have some impact, and he really hasn't had much impact so far. So I guess I
got you to be negative with the stock falling and whatever you want to call it.
It's tough though when you win 30-10, man.
Well, but it's also 2 games.
Baltimore, and when you beat Baltimore.
Yeah, it's also 2 games. It's hard, but I was impressed with Trey's game today. Like I thought he was physical, but you're right. Like, look, he's not playing the freaking, Joe Namath back there for a quarterback. So
Michael says in the live chat too, division should be wrapped up by week 13. Dude, the division might be wrapped up long before that. James Cook is Alvin Kamara. That's a good comparison. Speed.
No, yeah, vision, he does have that
balance. I wanted to say he's not really much of a threat in the passing game, but that's kind of wrong because he had a 51-yard catch against the Ravens in week 1. The Green Light Channel, Logue played well off the practice squad. I mentioned that 10 minutes ago or so. Great point. He did. He did not hurt the defensive line at all. Deion Walker looked okay from what I saw. TJ Sanders had a couple pressures. But yeah, Zion Log played pretty well. No Ed Oliver, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ed doesn't play against Miami either. I think they're going to be, with a short week, err on the side of caution.
They said it's going to be a couple weeks. I think Schefter had it where it's going to be a couple weeks for Ed.
Yeah.
That could be because of his horse or whatever the hell. We don't know. So we'll find out at some point. In our
Run the ball.
Maybe.
We are paying him being Curtis Samuel, $8 million to sit on the bench. Oh, well, it's Terry's money anyway. I'll say this. This is the best thing I can say about Curtis Samuel. He is benched. He's a healthy scratch. He's an inactive. And I expect that to stay that way. But here's the difference, Joe. If Moore goes down, if Palmer goes down, you got somebody who's been proven in the NFL. It's a nice luxury to have to be able to go to Curtis Samuel off the bench, as opposed to say, oh, we got to depend on KJ Hamler. You know what I mean? Or a guy like that. So
I don't know. Samuel hasn't done much at all. I know what you're saying. He's proven, but he proved himself like a couple years ago. I don't know. There's look. This is not the wide receiving class of 2020 with the Bills. Okay, I don't think it's not a hard lineup to crack if you're good. Sorry, and maybe he's not good. Go ahead.
Mark says last one, Pat pandering and Joe digressing. Some things.
Yes, I do digress a lot. I say that word a lot.
You kind of do digress a lot.
Yeah, I mean, my words are digress. The F word. Yours is definitely my guy and pandering, and we gotta do a segment called My Guy List because Pat's My guy versus my friends. That should be, forget your good, the bad, the ugly thing you do tomorrow or Wednesday or whatever. You got to do my guys versus my enemies. That's what you should do. That should be your thing. Like, not the good, bad, the ugly, like your freaking Clint Eastwood over here.
John Sanders says McDermott got stepped out in practice. Don't they say it's a lie, but McDermott's so religious. He does mass in Latin before.
What are you talking about, John?
I don't know. John Sanders has been having a lot of, maybe a couple too many IPAs or something today. We can't sunk cost the cap hits. Who cares? All right, talk about the cap. Yeah, I get it. I got another Camaro thing in there. All right, so we're about to wrap this up.
Yeah. By the way, trade deadline is November 5th. I was thinking about it, and I was like, when's the trade deadline? Because I'm curious if they'll try to make any moves, because they always seem to do it at the deadline. So we'll see.
Well, all right. Well, let me ask you this right now.
Sure.
You got very limited caps, so it's not going to be like a Micah Parsons kind of deal. You can't do it. But if you're going to project and you look at this team right now, you're going to go make a trade. What are you looking for? I don't know that they need to make a trade.
No, they need to make a trade. Shut up. Don't be a wimp. Fucking, they can always need a trade. I mean, look, you can always use more defensive back help. I'm glad they found the way to do angles today against the Jets of all people, with like how they were terrible at taking angles last week with Rapp and Bishop. I would say, look, you need depth. Like, is there a starter that they can upgrade from? Maybe at defensive tackle, because I think it's still a little bit muddled there with Ed Oliver hurt, and I don't know how serious his horse injury is, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Serious.
Well, they said a couple of weeks is going to be out. I don't know.
That's because they got a short week against Miami. I'm not saying he's not going to miss multiple games. I'm not saying Adam Schefter's wrong, although he has been wrong before. What I'm telling you is I don't think it's that serious of an injury.
It depends. Look, we got to see what happens. Like, the passing game has been fine. Josh was great against Baltimore. Last year, if you remember, they pulled the trigger on Amari when they were 3-2, and they looked like their passing game looked like ass against Baltimore and the Texans. So it really depends. Like, if we get a game where they get run over again, like, so far, the thing that's looked the worst in these two games has been the defense in week 1. So they may want to go and get some depth and to get they probably need a fat guy. Like, they need a fat guy up front. That's not DaQuan Jones. They need a fat guy.
Steve Noble brings up a point, too, that I kind of feel like is sort of what we're talking about in a way. He says, I still cannot wait to see the defense with Michael Hoyt. He will add a much-needed wrinkle. I completely agree. And, well, there you go. There's your two trades. You just pretend you traded for Michael Hoyt and Larry Ogunjobi right now. Those are going to be reinforcements that come back in week 7. I would say this. I think the only way they make a trade, Joe, is if an injury dictates that they need to. If this team stays relatively healthy and they have a guy who misses the game or two, maybe a little here and there, besides that, I don't think they really need to make a trade. I'd love to see a safety, but Sean loves his safeties, man. That's not going to happen.
Well, we have to see. If a team, it's too early to tell. Like, if a team goes into like dumpster fire mode and they have a good safety who's cheap, I wouldn't mind seeing another safety here. Like, why not? They're not sending 10 people to the Pro Bowl. Okay. So they can always use an upgrade. So I know you got everyone going to the Hall of Fame already, and the Cover One Hall of Fame, and the Pandering Pat Hall of Fame, and the Bro Beat Hall of Fame, but they can always use more talent.
Any last thoughts before we get out of here? I know how much you enjoyed seeing my appearance,
you're a homer.
Sales House last week. I know you were a big fan.
Oh, no, I missed that. Sorry, boss. I'm sure you had a good time. Was that the first time you were on a mainstream media person's podcast show before? And I know you've probably been on the Cover One, but I don't count. They're not mainstream. They're content bros. But
it's the first time I've been I've been on Sales Show before.
Oh, but were you? Okay.
I wasn't like the guest. There was a bunch of people. It was a Bills season preview. Like about 5 or 6 different guests were all there live. That's probably the first time I've done Main Street, to your point, full hour show on somebody else's. I'll tell you, it was fun because it kind of was a little bit of a throwback to what I used to like to do on this show a lot, was just have conversations, and it wasn't just all about, Buffalo Bills talk. We had a good talk about, because Sal and I actually, we had a lot in common in terms of our age, in terms of we both lived in Florida for an extended period of time. We knew each other on the Bills message boards way back in the day, like 20 years or so ago. So we found some fun things to talk about. I opened up about the Shaw Merriman thing that really screwed my life up for a year or two.
Let that thing bury. I've heard that story 85 times. Your life wasn't over. It's fine. You're so hard on yourself.
No,
hard.
It was just about, it was a podcasting conversation and reporting and all this other shit. And
how much weed did you smoke?
Probably, I'll tell you what, I had one take, and I'm gonna let you go. I did not smoke any weed.
Sad.
I know. But you know what? Edibles might be the move, though, man. You don't have to go through the long. I have COPD, so that's why I stopped smoking cigarettes 15 years ago. But anyway, that Herbal IQ, by the way, really impressive. It looked like a gorgeous, big version of a Verizon store, but with weed instead of cell phones and iPads and tablets.
There's a lot of weed stores like around here that I've walked past, and they look very, very like you just said a Verizon, like that sort of stuff.
Last thing I'm going to bring up, then we're bouncing here. And I'm sure I don't want this to get into a debate with you now because I know you don't like, or I don't know, maybe you do. Maybe it doesn't matter. But one of the things we discussed was breaking news and how Sal talks about local media people get a lot of criticism from people because they never break anything.
Yep. From me.
From you. And he was talking stuff that you know about, like agents basically, the insiders are in group text. They text all the agents at once, and that's just the way signings and deals basically get reported. But then it came down to the whole be right, not first model. And where I landed on, and I'll say this on the show, is I don't give a shit who breaks the news. Like if the Bills were to trade, we talked about trade a few minutes ago. Let's say the Bills trade for Tyreek Hill. They're not. Let's just say they did, though, right? I don't care about you breaking the news that they traded for Tyreek Hill. You know what I'm going to listen to, though? I want to hear Joe from Queens' take on it. What does it mean for the Bills? What does Joe from Queens think about it? That's what I want to hear with my media. I don't really need to know or even care about who broke the news that the Bills traded for Tyreek Hill. I'm more interested in Joe B's observations. What does it mean for the Bills? You know what I mean? That was kind of a road that we went down.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all because I feel like everyone has the same, is going to have the same observation of the Bills trading for Tyreek Hill, we'll just say. Everyone's going to have to say, oh, he's a deep threat and he's a big playmaker. And yeah, he's older and he's kind of a dickhead. That's what everyone's going to fucking say. And I think if you have any sort of sources, just, you don't got to break news for me. I don't care if you can't, like, you couldn't get the James Cook signing. Fine. But just tell me where they are. Like, they're closing in on the negotiations or anything. And I get it. Like, yes, the agents text all the national guys. But you know what? There are people who work for the agent. Like, I've watched Arliss Michaels. Okay, there's people who work in that office. Okay, it's not just the agent. Like, there's assistants, and you can talk to other people at the Bills. Like, you don't have to call Brandon Beane. You can call the press secretary or the leaks sources. Like, cultivate those relationships. Like, you could do that sort of thing, but you know, it doesn't matter in that town. You know, no one does that. So
last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Last question. I'm going to cut you off. Last question. You care about Josh Allen winning MVP a lot, right? I do. I am open.
I don't care
open about it.
I don't care.
All right. Well, games
like
this. I hope
it does. Sure.
If there's one downside about playing games like this, and I suspect the Saints game will be the same way, and a handful of others too. These games kind of hurt Josh Allen's MVP case. He only had 148 yards passing and 59 yards rushing. It's not too bad, but the stats just ain't going to be there. Lamar threw for 4 touchdowns today. And by the way, he threw a touchdown pass with 3 minutes left in the football game and in a lopsided game as well, too. Just want to point that out there as well. But I'm just looking, because I'm looking at his stats. I'm like, I mean, he had great stats against the Ravens, of course, but.
I will just say this. Josh didn't have those amazing stats last year. I think he only had, 2 300-yard games? So this is and he still won the MVP. So it's about moments.
From Josh today, though.
Huh? Yeah, no. I was getting someone in one of my Bills text threads was complaining about their fantasy team. Like, he didn't score any touchdowns. So, no, it's still early in the season. We'll see what happens. We got some good quarterbacks. I mean, Lamar's there. We'll see. Burrow was an MVP candidate, I would say, and he's out of there unless he has the greatest December of all time.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, remember, he got the freaking MVP. He had the moment of the year last week. So like, yeah, it'll be in
Any
that
last
running.
thoughts? Any last thoughts? Are we good? Are we done?
I'm trying to think. Is there any last thoughts? I'll be here Thursday night. I'm going to my friend's house. What?
Late after the
late.
We
So
will
please,
we'll be live after the game on Thursday night.
Yes, we'll be here. I'll be tired and I have to talk to you again. And that's it. Hey, look, 2-0 is good. Going into the season, I had them went 1-1 because I thought they were going to lose against Baltimore. This is the soft part of their schedule. I'm at a point where I have to weigh out. I just want to get wins. I want to get wins. And yes, it would be nice if they look impressive, but just stack the wins up. And that's that.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. If you've been on the live side, on the video side, appreciate you very much as well. Monday night, 8 p.m., Don Tibbetts from Channel 7 will be live with me. We'll go over some of his biggest takeaways from this game and quick turnaround. Start to get ready for Miami on Thursday. Like Joe said, too, we will be live immediately after the Dolphins game on Thursday night. Till then, folks, thank you, and talk to you tomorrow.